him. And later on the show, Lagos political crisis escalates as Obasa rejects removal as speaker, denies governorship ambition. Today on the program, I will be hanging out with Adewale Adeoye under Suko James. Gentlemen, good afternoon to you. Welcome to Journalist Hangout on Sunday.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
All right. Journalist Hangout starts now. Thank you very much for joining us. In a world driven by knowledge, literacy forms the foundation for personal growth and society progress. However, the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, reports that only 9.6% of primary school pupils in Kano State demonstrate reading proficiency, while 11.2% possess basic numeracy skills. This was disclosed by the chief of the Kano Field Office, Mr. Rahman Mohammed, during a news conference marking the 2025 International Day for Education on Friday in Kano. While outlining intervention programs across the state, Mr. Mohammed reaffirmed UNICEF's commitment to reducing illiteracy levels. Gentlemen, I'm sure this report does not surprise anyone, but the surprising thing is that there's been no level of progress despite several interventions. What exactly is driving this trend of out-of-school children in Kano State? Adeoye, let me start with you.
Well, first of all, I think we must recognize the fact that education is the window that opens up opportunities that can lead to the development of any country, the growth and development of any country. Education is the most important investment you can have in any human being. If you don't have education, the alternative is ignorance, which fuels conflict, which fuels underdevelopment. So when a state or a country has education deficit, you should expect all sorts of problems, that we... So in Kano, a state of 16.3 million, I think it's next after Lagos. And with a very long history of civilization, there has been Islamic education since the 14th century. So we are now talking of 2025, and we discovered that a lot of children in Kano, they have no access to basic education. And the consequences are terrific. So I'm not surprised about the figure given by UNICEF. If you go to Kano today, you can feel and see it. Hundreds of thousands of children, 2 years, 3 years on the streets. You keep on wondering, everywhere. When you are eating somewhere in a restaurant, they cluster around you, trying to take your remains. So I think it's a potential danger for Kano State, and not just Kano State, for the country itself, because it's going to provide breeding ground, for terrorist organizations to recruit them. When children are growing up, they are green, raw, and they're vulnerable to all sorts of ideas. So, and that's why states usually have education to be able to tailor the minds of people that are growing up and to give them value about life. So when we have this kind of station, I think it's embarrassing. It's not only Kano alone. Most states in Northwest face this major challenge. And until we're able to address this problem, it's really going to haunt us for many years to come. In Kano, we have no fewer than 1 million children that are out of school. So that's a very bad indices. No matter what development you are talking about, building roads, building bridges, once some people that have no basic access to education, there's no way they can help themselves.
Asoko, let me come to you. Is population growth a major factor here, or there are several factors to this effect?
Population growth might be one of them, but I would not want to, dabble into religion or what people really want, okay? But if we have more people, or more married people, let me use that, definitely they want to give birth. And but you can't stop people from giving birth. But you are also, anybody that is giving birth must also make sure that is responsible for those children.
Government cannot stop, but government can control.
No, but yeah, government can control, but that comes from the federal government. The federal government will have to put birth control or population control in place. you know. But I know sometimes the fear is usually religious. They have to look at so many considerations, especially religion. You can't stop anybody. But if federal government comes, like take for instance China, there was a time China put a peg that you must not have more than one child. Then later they noticed that there was a policy that, you know, that they wanted to conquer the world, and they increased the number to 2. Why? Because they know that by the time they increase the number of people, if the population grows, they'll be able to conquer the world or move further with their own plan. So I think for us to have population control will go a long way. You know, will go a long way in trying to reduce the number of it is very pathetic that we are having lots of children who are not in school. But be that as it may, I know the governor is also trying his best to see how we can move these children back to school. We have 1 million children out of school in Kano.
In Kano State alone.
And yes, alone. And from the statistics from the survey that was carried out, Kano, Katsina, and then Jigawa have the highest number of out of school children. But I know Governor Abba Yusuf last year declared a state of emergency on education. In fact, in 2024 and 2025, the budget for Kano, education had 30% last year and also this year. So it means that the governor is making efforts to see how we can reduce the number of out of school. He has a program with, I think, the World Bank that is trying to, you know, give, there's a project for girls, whereby the girls that are in that project, in that workshop, are even paid, I think, 20,000 every month, you know, to encourage the girl child to go into education. So, but I think he should also expand it the more, you know, to involve more children. You know, I know the last administration tried to bring in school feeding, and I know the impact of school feeding for children.
But do you know that in some northwestern states, education is free but not compulsory?
So that is why. So now, I think it was during Obasanjo's time that they made education compulsory. So in fact, it is against the law if you do not even send your child to school, because the basic, your child must have the basic education. And that basic is from primary 1 to primary 6. Is a must. So what the government should do, because when it comes to education, education falls in the purview of the state government. But the federal government must insist now that state government must ensure that children go to school. Parents who do not send their children to school should be arrested.
Sanctioned. Okay.
Not sanctioned, arrested. Okay. If you have 10 children, let them go to primary school. Let them start from there. And then the government must also ensure that the environment is also conducive for them. The only way, I remember when this school feeding program was in place, I remember in Oshu, they had a high number of children going to school back when Aregbesola was still the governor. So if government should insist, and also government is also, if the governors are really, really truthful with themselves, and they really want to deal with this out of school children, Jumoke, is very easy. One, what is the incentive? What do you think children like? They like food. They like apples. They like oranges. Put that in the class. Governor Peter Mba, go and see the fantastic job the governor is doing. Governor Peter Mba is feeding children, is building infrastructure for children, is making the school conducive for children to go to school. And this is not rocket science. Governors are getting more money. Kano, for instance, is getting more money than even Lagos, if I'm not mistaken.
So I don't even think school feeding program is the issue, but for these state governors to try and make sure that corruption is not the order of the day when this program starts.
That is where monitoring comes in. But first, it has to come from an idea. Because if you don't have the idea and you don't have the mind for you to do it, it won't work. So the first, he has to put in a plan. I hope the governor is watching and his cabinet members are also watching. For you to reduce the number of out-of-school children is not about when you are passing, you are seeing children, you are giving them money or giving them food. No, move them to the classroom, because these are the future leaders of tomorrow. If these children are educated, even them too will sleep easy, because by the time these children don't have anything to do, nothing is engaging them. When look at the August 1 problem during that protest. We saw children everywhere, and it was in the north. All right. So they need to find a way of moving these children into the classroom and giving them proper education. The basic ones are what we need. Look at this survey that was carried out by UNICEF. What is it? It's just how to read and how to put 1 + 1 together. That is just what they are saying. They didn't talk about Introtech. They didn't talk about social studies. They didn't talk about physics. Just how to read and how to just say 1 + 1 = 2. That is the survey that they carried. And they had, look at the number.
All right, Adige, let me come to you, because, I mean, if governors had, Northwest governors, Northeast governors had declared state of emergencies on education, yet we still have this high number of out-of-school children. What exactly is driving it? There are several factors. Some have talked about poor state funding for education, persistent insecurity crisis. These are some of the factors. And if you also look at this report, 989, I mean, just few numbers from 1 million naira, or roughly 32% of the population were currently not enrolled in formal education. If we've had enormous interventions by international organizations, and yet we have these numbers, what's happening?
You see, the ruling class in these areas, don't forget that the leaders we have had since 1960, many of them, majority of them are from this part of the country, Northwest. At least Katsina has produced 2 presidents for Nigeria, you know, President Buhari, former President Yaradua, and of course, head of state. Buhari was also head of state for, you know, about 2 years. Then we also have Kano that has produced Murtala Mohammed and then Abacha. So the problem is the crisis of leadership. When we are talking about, it's not about whether the population is Islam or not. No. Indonesia has the largest number of Muslims, you know, 277 million people, out of which 241 are Muslims. In fact, it's the largest Muslim nation in the world. But the literacy rate in Indonesia is 99.3%. Saudi Arabia has a population of 36 million people. The literacy rate is 99.4%. These are, you know, Islamic, the homes of Islam. So what we have in this part of the country is the character of leadership. They are not interested in investing in education, you know, of the people. And you know, when politics becomes a profit, it's always good for people to be less educated. Because these are people that they don't ask questions when you go out to campaign for your votes. When you are campaigning for vote, you don't talk about education, you don't talk about environment. Or maybe,
I do apologize, maybe we should say the leaders are not interested in investing in formal education.
Well, even both formal and informal, you understand? Because the university is saying that 11%, they don't have numeric knowledge. They can't even count 1 + 1, 3 for 11%. So it's a leadership crisis. You know, Kano has been, in fact, one of the greatest, you know, states in West Africa. So, but when you have leaders who, when we had, I think at the time we had Rimi, Rimi, you know, indicated a lot of commitment. And you know, people like Aminu Kano, they fought for these issues. PRP, People's Redemption, you know, Party of Nigeria. So I think it's leadership problem. You know, we need a leader that, look at what is going on in Borno State, where the leader is building schools. You see those schools everywhere. Building, you know, modern classrooms and ensuring that people go into this, you know, making it compulsory for them. So it's the leadership that needs to redefine in terms of scale of preference. What they think is most important for the people. And it's not only Kano alone. It's even in other parts of the country. The standard of education, you know, the number of dropouts is increasing. So it's not just a problem that is associated with Kano alone. It's a national problem, except that in Kano is more pronounced. So the government just needs to place education as priority beyond any other.
Maybe I should play the devil's advocate. We need to move on, but perhaps I should play the devil's advocate. Maybe the reason the leaders and the governors are not investing in education, formal education, is because they understand that people do not want to be in the four walls of a classroom. I mean, perhaps they understand that formal education is not for us, and we understand our people, and that's why we're not investing in it.
Let me tell you, Oh, well, you are saying devil's advocate anyway. But the thing is, most politicians will not even want them to get educated. That is number one.
Okay.
So that they will continue to rule them,
Easy political
lead them.
exploitation.
So
Easy
sometimes it is political. Shey you get.
Yes.
But as it stands now, as it stands today, whether it was Awolowo that said something about the poor, that if you do not educate your the poor today, in future they will come after you. I think it was Awolowo that said something almost similar. So the thing is, if you don't educate them today, if you don't educate somebody today, a child today, tomorrow that child will haunt you. So it is as simple as that. So the governors must have that. They won't be governors forever. Even when they have money, their children have money, these children of the poor that they did not educate will haunt their own children.
All right.
So the best thing is educate the children. As you're educating your children, educate the children of the poor and let everybody find his way based on destiny.
I think the parents are also some sort of factors here, because another significant factor is this cultural practice of insisting on acquiring basic Islamic education before enrolling children in Western education. But we have to move on quickly. Let's move on to our next story. A fundamental principle of justice is that it must not only be done, but must also be seen to be done. In a significant development, the Edo Election Tribunal has been relocated to Abuja. This was disclosed by the tribunal's secretary, Muazu Bagudu, on Friday. Although no official reason was given for the move, reports suggest it may be linked to disturbances at the court premises in the past. Adeoye, let me come to you. PDP has accused APC of attempting to disrupt the proceedings. I mean, there's been this back and forth between both parties. How do you react to this?
Well, I think in Edo State, people are waiting with suspended breath, because once the Supreme Court gives its judgment, that is the final, So, in this kind of situation, the PDP still hopes that something will happen. While the APC also feels that, look, we're already there, and we hope that the judgment is in our favor. But I think what the panel did, what the tribunal did, was the right thing to do. By law, the tribunal can sit anywhere in the country. I remember there have been so many cases. Ekiti State was at Ilorin, that nothing, didn't even sit in the kitchen. Many other cases like that, that there is no law that says that you must sit, at a particular place where the election held. So I think it's good that it was taken away from, Benin, because the security of judicial officials, the security of clients, of witnesses, so I think it's a better thing that it was. And I don't think there's any way it's going to affect the outcome of, the decision of the court. So I believe what happened was the right thing, and we should just hope for the final decision of the Supreme Court. And I hope at that time people will know their level, as they say in Benin.
All right. As you call them, because it looks like PDP supporters are more concerned about fair hearing at the tribunal.
Yeah, PDP supporters, they believe that they have a case and they can win this at the tribunal, and even the entire case, but so far so good. I think what the tribunal did was just the right thing, because the past few weeks and months, there've been serious insecurity, breach of security around the tribunal venue. The last video I saw was about a man, a guy carrying rifle and was shooting. Video. Yeah. He was shooting, and then at the end of the guy was even doing it in such a way that nothing can happen. You understand? So if somebody can do that.
That's one of the videos.
Yes, this one now is a private security guard. He actually came with, he said he came with one of the governorship candidates. So they had to, tell him that where's the governorship candidate? He's not here. Then why are you here? They have to now drive him away. So we don't want a situation whereby those who are coming as witnesses, get killed or get beaten or harmed. And we don't also want a situation whereby the council are also harmed, or even the tribunal, the panel. We don't want anybody to get harmed. And so this is not the first time we are moving a case.
Yes.
Even the last one, the Kogi, governorship election, was moved to Abuja. So this is also being moved to Abuja because that is where we now have enough security. If you have evidence, go there and tender. If a witness has to go there, let him go there. Definitely it's the political parties that will take the witnesses there. So they will know how to foot the bill. If they will need to fly from Benin to Abuja, keep the person. So it's just going to be an extra cost for all the political parties, you know. But it's good that this is happening. We'll need to put this case to bed because all the time when elections come like this, we need to always go to the tribunal. From the tribunal,
really
we'll go
ridiculous.
to the, you know, so it's just being ridiculous, honestly.
So talking about witnesses,
we need to find a way to always stop when once a case is, the election is done. Politicians must always find a way of saying
Nigerian
this
politicians.
enough. But they won't. They won't. Everybody feels that I am the winner. Everybody feels I'm the winner. You know, I think it's only the Labour Party candidate that said there's no point going. It's just the PDP candidate that said it's going. So, you know, pressing charge.
So talking about witnesses, PDP has now presented 10 witnesses. But, you know, past proceedings have shown us that it's not about presenting witnesses, but can they prove that indeed this and this happened? I mean, look at the 2023 election. Peter Obi presented about 13 witnesses. 10 of them were...
Have you forgotten the number he said he was going to present? You know, and he brought tons and tons of cartons. At the end of the day,
and documents.
You understand, it didn't amount to anything. You know, so but what we are saying is, if the PDP they have cast enough evidence, they should now take it there. That's what I'm saying. So if he has witnesses, he should take his witnesses.
Well, at the moment, some of the witnesses have started flopping.
Yes,
one of them already said his involvement was limited to overseeing results at the situation room and that it was not at the collation centers. So would you blame this on lawyers or politicians themselves who will do everything to make sure they go to court, to the tribunal? How do you?
Well, you see, if you win any election, and genuinely, you know, you have the highest number of votes that you can prove. It will be very difficult for you to lose in any court of law. It's not just about going to the media and saying all sorts of things. The technicalities of law. Do we have votes that are invalid? Were the buses carted away that, you know, you could not have enough votes for a particular candidate? Were there disruptions in certain local governments or certain polling units? If you are saying that you recorded the number of votes or there was rigging, then you need to also be able to put it forensically. You remember the Kitis, you know, that they had to bring somebody from UK. They were going through those ballot papers one by one. But now it's even easier. Because at that time, we had no biometrics. It was not as sophisticated as what we have today. So in this case now, it's easier to prove if you have won, if you are the one that has won the election. So I believe the job of the judges is not going to be, of the judges is going to be, it has been made easier by the advancement that INEC has made in technology. All this talking about, you know, just talking in the media, it's just a diversion. By the time you go to court, the evidence, you know, you provide your evidence based on facts, based on figures. I mean, there is no way the judge can upturn, you know, your position. So I think instead of just, you know, doing media trial, the lawyers should go and, you know, push their case in the court and come out with evidence cast in stone that cannot be disproved by the opponent. And I think that I don't want to predict what will be the outcome. That will be prejudicial. But I believe that at the end of the day, the Supreme Court will do justice to this case.
But must it get to the Supreme Court?
It has to.
Well, it has to.
It has
to, you know, because if you don't get to the Supreme Court, there is no way you can convince the other opponent that, you know, a party, you know, was the one that actually won the election. So, all right. So and thank God it's not going to take, it's not like before that to take about 3 years, you know. So in the next few months, you know, we'll know the rightful owner. We'll be, I mean,
all right. So this idea of perpetrating violence or sponsoring thugs at tribunal proceedings, when do we begin to have this conversation? And that now that this case has been moved to Abuja, what difference would it make?
Well, the difference it's going to make is that the lawyers on both sides are better protected. Because it's a different ball game when they have to live in Benin, you know, maybe rent hotels. Then the judges too, you know, it means that they are better protected. Because if they live in that community, it will be easier for, you know, talks. But any talk wants to go to Abuja now from Benin, he needs to think twice. He needs to pass through a lot of roadblocks. And when you go to Abuja, that's not your terrain. It's not going to be so easy for you to operate when you are operating in a place that is indigenous to you. So I think it's a better thing that the judges did. And I believe it's going to give them to work in a more conducive environment where there's no fear, there's no anxiety about, you know, some non-state actors attacking them. We have seen what is going on there, that, you know, people, tension is high. And there could be disruption, there could be violence, there could be mass
during
you know,
before the election.
Yes, people can even mobilize maybe in hundreds and go to the tribunal. So I think what happened, you know, it was a very good development.
All right. Asuka, your final take on this before we move on.
No, that is a very wonderful decision to have taken, you know. And we just want to put this matter to bed, you know. But those who have alleged, they have to prove their case beyond reasonable doubt. That is the word that is always when you go to the court, you know, if you want
who alleges must prove.
Yes, must prove. No, this one is even beyond reasonable doubt.
Okay.
You understand? So if you say, okay, that you are the winner, you also have to prove how, you know. So
because Ighodalo is very confident of tribunal victory.
I have seen his confidence level, you know.
The politicians are always very confident.
There's no politician that loses a case.
Yes.
It is only when the Supreme Court decides. That is when it will dawn on them. You understand? So we just hope that at the end of the day, when they get to Abuja, no lives will be lost, and the judges will be able to do justice to this matter.
And Edo people can definitely move on with their lives.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, gentlemen, let's move on to another very interesting development. Politics is often shaped by shifting allegiances. In a move with far-reaching implications, Delta State Senator Nwoko has defected from the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to the All Progressives Congress, APC. The announcement was made in his hometown, Udumuje, in Anyocha North local government area, where he expressed his support for President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. Who is surprised? Are you surprised? Did you see this coming?
Well, let me first of all say that I'm not surprised.
Okay.
And let me also say that the APC has succeeded in getting a very big fish in Delta State. You see, if you follow the trademark of Nwoko since 1999, I have never met him before, but I think he's one of the most remarkable lawmakers in Nigeria. He started politics in 1999 and has been consistent. You see, he's a lawyer, one of the most successful lawyers in Africa. It's not just about his person, but you know, his acumen. When he talks, his knowledge. You know, this is a lawyer that the Paris reform that we are talking about was the one that was able to discover the discrepancies. He took the federal government to court and was able to ensure that federal government paid back to local governments no fewer than $20 billion. He was the first Nigerian, the first African to visit Antarctica. You know, one of the coldest parts of the world. And he was able to mount the Nigerian flag, Nigeria becoming the 13th country which flag was mounted in Antarctica. And from there, he launched, you know, the anti-malaria campaign. He's involved in the funding of malaria vaccine that many African universities are involved in as we speak today. So when you look at the track record of this particular lawmaker, in fact, it's one of the strongest. I mean, when you're talking about brain heads, you know, people with knowledge, people with global reputation, I think, you know, Nwoko, you know, is just one of those few. If I'm to give award, I will give award to Rinda Pale. I'm telling you, since 1999. So for APC to PDP to lose this very important individual, it's not just about electoral politics, but about the quality of leadership. You know, I think it's not a good thing for the PDP. But I'm not surprised in the sense that Delta State revolves around few individuals. And when you see that those individuals are certain things, those who are close to them are shifting alliances, then you can predict that perhaps the tap route, of politics in Delta State might end up in the hand of APC. Look at Ibori, for instance. Ibori is one of the most outstanding, most influential political figures, if not the most important figure in Delta since 1999. He is the one that who becomes the governor of Delta State. His daughter left PDP for APC. Now, I think in Delta, majority of the senators are now in APC, having defected. And most of these people are close, to Ibori. Ogboru, who had, the party DPP, his allies are also moving to APC. And there are rumors, very strong rumors, but, strong speculations that even the governor himself, is considering moving to
I won't be surprised.
So I think the APC it appears to have a very, a group that has very good in tactics and strategy to lobby the most important individuals, politicians in very strategic areas. That if they are able to have Edo State, as the Supreme Court goes to give judgment, then they are going to have, and they are going to have, they are having data, already having a strong hold in data, making a caution. Then look at Rivers, it's neither here nor there. So I think it will make 2027 easier. Okay. And I can say that PDP is losing grounds. Its strength is diminishing. And what has happened in Delta State with the loss of Nwoko to APC is another blow to the PDP.
As some say this looks like a chess game, and that Nwoko must have moved to the APC, so the idea of having an Onitsha state would come to reality.
That is the real thing.
So he would become the first governor.
Yes, for him to become the first governor. In fact, from the info, from what I know, he has been having a running battle with the governor. Okay. And the last meeting he had in PDP was in September. And since then, he has not, gone for any PDP function because he has a plan. Politicians are always having plans, okay? In fact, from all the indication and from everything that we've been, from the news that I've gathered, there was a meeting he had in Dokwa. And in that meeting, he accused the governor of stalling a power plant, or power plant. Where he comes from, Ndokwa, because he is the one for the senatorial zone. That is it. But Ndokwa, they have one of the largest gas reserves. But that Okwai power plant was supposed to have kick-started. But he was saying something about the governor not, allowing it to come to fruition. But the governor has denied that. The governor denied. He said even NED did not even, talk to him about it. You understand? That, okay, this is what we need to do for that power plant to kickstart. Now, if you now look at, don't forget that even the former governor is also from his senatorial zone. The former governor is from Ika. And the former governor is also accusing NED of his travels with EFCC.
Yes, I remember that story.
So he's having problems in the PDP because of his ambition of trying to push for the Anoma state. You understand? And we know that if he decides, because I heard that he has not picked up his card as a card-carrying member of APC, but he has discussed with Godswill Akpabio that he wants to defect. So, and don't forget, recently, I think Ibori's daughter actually moved to APC.
Yes, to the APC.
But do you know that there are some other people who are already in APC that have been working hard and doing so many things? The former deputy Senate president of the Senate, Omar, is there.
And now that he has also moved, all the 3 senators representing Delta State are practically now in the APC.
You know, so if Peter Nwabushi that left PDP way back and went to APC, has been the one funding the party with his small money. And now Ned wants to now come and become
four powerful persons.
He has a lot
to contend with.
I know that Adeoye has given us his own credentials. We know about all those credentials. But when it comes to politics is local. And he will be able to fight all these people. The PDP, he has a problem with the governor because the governor is still angry that he went to his community to go and lie against him. He has a problem with even the former governor, Ifeanyi Okowa. Yeah. In the APC, he will be facing other people who have been there building the party. So he has to find a way of, if he's going to go to the APC finally, because I know he will, if he goes to the APC finally, it is the APC national that will need to pacify those who are already in the party now to allow him to come and be able to bring his ideas. We are not saying APC is open to everybody that wants to come. After all, Ibori also went there. And don't forget...
But if ambitions clash, to what extent does this pacification work?
Ibori himself is in the PDP. He's a power broker too. Yeah. But I can tell you that he has 2 legs. 1 leg here and 1 leg. Because if the daughter is here and he's here, he will definitely be listening to what the daughter is feeding him. And also listening to what his own party is saying. So...
the daughter would have moved without
his consent and giving permission.
Yes.
So Ned has to, find a way. I wish him well as he sojourns to APC, but I can tell you for free, Delta is a strong PDP state, just like my state, Akwa Ibom. Anybody that is moving to APC, will tell you that, okay, we've heard. At least I know I've covered the election in my state since 2011. And I know that anytime PDP is involved, on that ballot, if PDP is in that ballot, forget it. It's always very difficult for you to win.
Would you be surprised if you hear that the governor moves to...
Forget it. The governor has said, he has not said he wants to move or not.
Okay.
The governor respects Mr. President.
Okay.
I want to use that word, respects Mr. President. Just like every other governor who is in the opposition.
You can't trust politicians.
Wait now, let me tell you. They respect Mr. President. In fact, I can tell you for free, they would even campaign for Mr. President when it comes to 2027.
But they will stay in the PDP.
Till today, even this Delta governor said, if you like me, then you like the president. He has said it openly. I have seen the video.
Okay.
That if I succeed, the president will succeed. So you have to, as you are praying for me, pray for the president. So he respects the president. But for him to maybe jump ship, that is the politician's decision.
Okay.
But I can tell you for free, Delta State is PDP, and South is very difficult for it to switch. The only South state that switch is always Edo State. That will switch like this and switch like
Delta.
this. You understand? So
okay. Adeoye, let me come to you. What does this mean for the state chapter of the PDP?
Well, in the first place, there is no body that is permanently attached to any political party. At the time in the Southwest, it was Alliance for Democracy. It was APC. But later, things started to shift. Even the Ekiti State, no one ever imagined that PDP would even win election in the Ekiti State. So I think it's a question of interest. The people of Niger Delta and the political actors, if you are a very good politician and you know what the people want, you engage them. There's nothing special about PDP or APC. It's just a name. It's interest. What benefits the people? So if you have somebody like the president who understands what the people really want and is able to engage them and meet their aspirations, to address their fears, I can tell you that any state can shift to any political party. So I believe the Niger Delta, like I said, PDP is very strong. It has been strong since 1999.
Since 1999.
For the simple reason that the first 8
years. It doesn't fall if Governor Oborowori defects.
Yeah. For the simple fact that
it will be if it defects, and then the APC brings a stronger candidate that appeals to the people, okay, and that candidate is from the zone that is supposed to, you know, continue, maybe his own zone. It might, the governor will lose the election. He will lose the election, you know, because the way that the dynamics, the politics in the South is usually like that. If they don't like your face, you maybe pick a wrong candidate or something, or you pick a wrong zone. They will look at all those things. They look at so many factors, but the PDP is very strong in the South.
I think what made PDP to be
very strong
is the first 8 years of Obasanjo.
Okay.
Then after that, somebody from South, President Goodluck Jonathan, who is their son, was also in power for 6 years. So, but that does not mean that dynamics cannot change.
Okay.
It's already changing in Rivers, it's changing in Delta, it has changed in Edo State.
Evaluating what is happening with the PDP at the national level now, what exactly do you think is wrong?
For me, I think that increasingly people are losing hope in the ability of PDP to re-energize itself. And when a politician knows that this party cannot meet my aspiration, cannot meet my ambition, you know, then I think you see a lot of people leaving that party to look for another platform that they can use, you know, to. Unfortunately, the PDP leadership is not strong enough to be able to deal with local and national issues. And I think we may see a situation where, unless there's a third force, that you know, PDP may continue to lose, you know, its very important members and become more weakened, even as 2027.
I mean, it was very surprising for many to see this guy Showumi now speaking with, like minds in court in other parties, trying to look for an alternative party to wrestle power with the APC. As a court, talking about PDP at the national level, again, what exactly is wrong? What do you think is wrong?
So many interests, you know, so many interests. If PDP, it will be difficult for PDP to, you know, fizzle out completely, but they will lose grounds. Because if you look at it, just like you said, Showumi was in the PDP. Now he's already thinking of moving to another party.
Or create his own party.
Or create his own party. You know, so it starts like that. But once there's a crack, you know, the lizard will find a way inside. So that crack is what PDP has refused to amend. And it's just so many people having their own interests. And none of them want to bring down their interests onto the table for them to say, okay, fine.
Let's compromise.
Let's not be too ambitious, or let's not be ambitious. We know we all have, you know, ambition, okay? But let's drop it and then come together. They have refused to do that. That is the major problem. As long and as far as everybody continues with this ego, they will continue to have that problem. Important people will continue to move away from the party and find refuge in other political parties. Labour Party is having that problem. Now that the Supreme Court has said is Aburi, you know, I can bet you that people will begin to find refuge in Labour Party if they don't want to go to APC. So the PDP will be the one at the losing end because they have refused to do the right thing, and which is to bring their people together for them to sit on the round table and leave their interests. Yes, we know that politics is an interest-driven game, but the thing is, they need to first sit down, say, okay, fine, let's not think about anything. Let's just see how we can harmonize. Let's see how we can come together and be united. But if they don't do that, they'll continue to have that problem. From the top, I know how many reconciliation committees that they have set up, and none of them have been able to come up with a concrete reconciliation of all these problems. So something has to give.
Okay.
That thing that has to give is for all of them to look at the interest of the party. If they don't look at the interest of the party, then I don't see PDP giving APC a run for its money in 2027. and even in the next 8 years. So they need to first sit down and begin to look at themselves and see how they can. Big party. There was a time they were prouding that they want to rule for 60 years. They didn't even rule up to half of the 60 years.
I think quickly, what must give? Soko talked about PDP regaining its pride. What must give?
Well, if we are to pick the best three, the best, most outstanding figures in PDP, let's first of all pick the former president, Olusegun Obasanjo.
Okay.
Then you now talk about Atiku. Then you talk about President Goodluck Jonathan. And then you talk about people like Wike. You cannot say 100% today that former President Olusegun Obasanjo is in the PDP. He actually tore his membership card at the time. President Goodluck Jonathan was almost made to run
for APC.
On the platform of APC. And even in 2027, some people are saying that, APC wants to go and
exactly. Bring him.
Former Vice President Atiku, he was in APC, then later he jumped back to PDP. And even now, having contested for several times, is almost worn out. So who are those national figures that, even like that we are talking about? Take Wike, take Ibori, take Goodluck Jonathan, they are not here.
I think kindly hold on. Yeah. We must take some live feed from Katsina State. It's the launch of local government campaign by Governor Umar Diko Randa. Journalist Hangout continues on our other platforms and on YouTube. Ade, please go ahead.
Okay. So, as it is, when you are looking at the funding members of PDP, the Capoons, they are no longer in that party. So, unless there is an effective, efficient national leadership, you may not be able to deal with local politics effectively. And even at the local level, the most important figure, the real crisis, which has lingered for several years, and there is no indication that the party has the ability to be able to resolve its internal contradictions, which I think will give the APC an opportunity to feast, the carcass of, to feast on the carcass of PDP.
All right, gentlemen, let's move on quickly to another story. The loss of a parent or guardian can lead to emotional and financial hardship for children, leaving them vulnerable and without support. In Kogi State, Governor Usman Ododo is addressing this issue with the launch of the Governor Ododo Orphan Students Care initiative, reaffirming his commitment to the welfare of orphans. Governor Ododo's position is that no child in the state should feel abandoned or forgotten due to the death or financial struggles of their parents or guardians. Asoko, take this away.
Yeah, I think this is a very good initiative from the governor. At least we'll be hearing different programs for widows, okay, and nobody has even done any program for widowers. You understand? I think that's another idea that I've sold to.
You've sold to state governors.
Yes, let them start thinking about now that the governor is thinking about orphans. It's a very good initiative. There's another governor that is even building a center. I think it's the Akwa Ibom State governor building a center for the elderly persons. So it's good that Governor Ododo is coming up with this initiative. We hope that the beneficiaries will see the need in it, okay, and not just and it will be sustainable, okay. It has to be sustainable. Once you lose your parents or your guardian, you're on your own. Me, I am an orphan, and I understand what it means, because sometimes you might get to a particular level. Whether you are old, some people say, but say you are old. No, you get to a particular point, you want to take critical decisions that concerns your life. And when you don't have somebody to speak with, okay, it becomes a problem. Sometimes you might say, but your wife is there. Yes, you're my wife. Sometimes there are some things I might not want to share with my wife, because if your wife doesn't have the capacity to hold a particular information, okay, as in emotional information, or something that might cause her to begin to cry, you might not want to tell your wife. So you might want somebody who is at that senior level or somebody who is older, much older, that understands life, as in life, to share that information with. So the person will now begin to calm you down and give you the advice that, let you, weather the storm.
Absolutely.
So this program is going to help so many orphans like that, especially giving them a shoulder. Let me use that word. Giving them a shoulder for them to lean on. When once they need that shoulder, the governor has given them this program. And I think it's a good initiative. Nobody has ever thought about that, thinking that, okay, well, once your parents die, that is the end. I hope also that this program will also look at, students who even go beyond just students, but also looking at individuals, creating a center for orphans, whereby orphans whose parents who don't have any hope at all, because this one now is for students. It's for students, because for the student now, when once you don't have parents, you don't have guardians, how will you pay your school fees? You understand? There's no hope. So, but Governor Ododo, I'm just telling him now, if he can, create a center for these orphans, orphans. It might not just be students, but orphans generally. Let them come. Look for people, elderly people, experts, psychologists, who can help people who have lost hope completely, who have lost parents, lost guardians, and they will go to that center and then they will get healing. It might not just be monetary. Most of these things, it's not only about monetary, because this is, for the student now, is monetary.
Okay.
Paying school fees, paying their tuition, and some other things. But for when you have a center where the orphans can always go, and somebody is sharing some good ideas to them, or giving them a shoulder, I think it will go a long way in helping a lot of them.
All right. And I also hope that there is a monitoring mechanism, or the governor monitors this himself, or assigns someone to monitor this, so the real beneficiaries enjoy this initiative, so we don't have political orphans.
God bless you. That is the right word, political orphans. Because at the end of the day, look at NEL Fund, for instance. The NEL Fund that the federal government is doing. I have not heard anybody complain about, they didn't pay my school fees, they didn't do this. It is transparent. If you want questions, you can go to them, and then they will give you the right answers. So, but this one, just like you said, it shouldn't be political orphans, whereby at the end of the day, we'll now see 10,000 names. Those 10,000 names,
10,000 are politicians.
They will now have parents. Some will have parents. Maybe their parents are not. They are not in Kogi. Their parents are in Abuja.
The list
some in
might
Lagos.
Not even contain, or
and then they. Then at the end of the day.
Until
no, that's in the orphans itself.
Okay.
You understand? So we hope that at the end of the day, it will not be a channel of corruption. But
that's very important.
It is very, very important. I hope the governor understands this, because we are not just saying it. Because we know that is what Nigeria agencies, most agencies or programs like this end up being. So the governor must make sure that there's a monitoring agency, a monitoring team that ensures that if somebody says, I don't have parents, I don't have guardians, I don't have hope, and my school fees is about to, I need somebody to pay my school fees. Somebody somewhere should go to confirm wherever that person came from, whether it's from Kaba, whether it's from Okunu, wherever he is, but around that Kogi state. Provided it's in school, then they should be able to say, okay, fine. Truly, this person is if it's 10,000, even if it is 1,000 that the governor can do, he shouldn't be in a hurry to say, I want to accommodate 100,000. Even if it's 500 or 100, let him do it. He shouldn't be in a hurry to satisfy everybody. Because at the end of the day, that is where the political orphans will come in.
All right. Adeoye, tomorrow, January 27, makes it a year since Governor Ododo assumed office. Is he matching his words with action?
Well, I think, to be very fair, it's too early, if you have a term of 12 months in the university, and you have just spent about 3 months, it's too early to say that, okay, you know, this particular student has failed. But I think that given the resources available in Kogi State, given the debts inherited, even though you may not admit all that you inherited, given the security situation in Kogi State, given the environmental factors, you know, I think we can say that he appears to understand the needs of that state in terms of what the people really need. And I believe, given the limited resources at his disposal, I can say that it's not doing badly, you know, in terms of road construction, in terms of primary health care, in terms of also security. I saw the equipments and gadgets, you know, so many of them that he bought for. And if you see Kogi State today, if you look at Kogi State, there has been noticeable reduction in crime, because I'm familiar with that terrain, and I know that he's doing, you know, there's been improvement, you know, in terms of security in the state. And I think the idea of this orphanage is also something that is very good, you know, because to be an orphan is not an easy thing. You know, it's an emotional issue, it's a psychological issue. It's always good for people to have somebody who are their parents, who can give them that emotional cover, who can give them, you know, economic needs, who can give them love, who can give them affection. When that is absent, you know, it's like killing a child, you know, because there's nothing left. No matter, even when you have access to the good things of life, once there's no emotional parentage, it's always a very big problem. And you know, orphans have increased tremendously in Nigeria in the past years. I think the figure we have now is between 17.5 to 18 million. That is huge. So it means that it's a state and also national challenge, that state governments and federal government should show more interest. We are talking about 18 million people. That is a lot. That's a lot. Because we have had increase in kidnapping, in killings, violence, you know, this past year. So there are a lot of people who are, and also poverty, you know, can also lead to orphanage, diseases, mystery, people losing their lives and all that. So dealing with the issue of orphanage, of orphans, I think it's a major developmental issue that state governments should focus on. So I'm happy that he has brought it up as a focal point, which I think is commendable. All right, gentlemen, let's go on a break, and when we return, we will continue this conversation. Please stay with us, everyone.
Every major news story is with many perspectives and layered with different levels of impact.
Kano, what time did this happen? We will be right there.
At TVC News, we follow the big and major news, gathering the facts, witnessing the outcome.
I am here live at the aftermath of the approval of the new national minimum wage.
We are TV Station of the Year, not just for breaking news, but for being first, fair and accurate. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Voted as the best TV station of the year, TVC News breaks into the core of every event as they happen, following all nationwide big and impactful stories, without the news from every perspective, covering every human angle. I am Veronica, bringing you the news you would want to watch.
Welcome back to Journalist Hangout on Sunday. Thank you very much for staying with us. Adewale Adeoye and Asukwo James are my guests today on the program. Asukwo, let me continue with you. We've been talking about Governor Ododo reaffirming commitment to welfare of orphans in his state. But 18 million orphans across the country. Where do we begin from?
18 million.
18 million.
That is across the country.
Yes.
Yeah.
It shows that life expectancy is getting low, you know. So the government needs to, you know, find a way around it. You know, find a way of increasing our life expectancy, because the only way people can, you know, I remember when one loved one dies, maybe the father dies first. You know, the next is just, you find that the one that they left behind, that is maybe their mother, begins to have, you know, health challenges, missing the husband, and at the end of the day, it takes time. Then sometimes I remember my parents, it was just 1 year. You know, some people are lucky that they have their parents that stay the longer time before the second one goes. You know, so but for us to have that huge number of orphans, it shows that we have a lot of work to do in terms of keeping our loved ones, the elderly, you know. So, but there's nothing one can do. If your time has come, your time has come, you know.
So perhaps we need more interventions by state governments.
Well, like if interventions in the part of, you know, like what Governor Dodo is doing, you know, we just have to find a way of making sure that those who are even alive, you know, it will stay alive and live longer. Right. That is just it. All
right then, gentlemen, let's talk military matters. Recent military bombardments targeting terrorists are beginning to yield results. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, has confirmed that notorious bandit Bello Turji is begging to surrender. However, General Musa made it clear that he will not be spared. While highlighting the challenges faced by the military, General Musa emphasized that those responsible for violence and the deaths of innocent citizens must be held accountable. Hadi, let me start with you. It looks like the military pressure, if it's sustained, are you confident that Bello Turji would be a thing of the past?
Well, I think, let me first of all commend the service chiefs for the great work. I think the president made the right choice.
Yes.
You know, and also the National Security Advisor. There has been tremendous improvement in terms of ability of Nigerian army, Nigerian security force to deal with insurgency across the country. What we have recorded, people may not know, but if you take time to study and read data, available data, you will comment the efforts in the past 1 year. In fact, this past 1 year, or close to 2 years, we have achieved what we have not achieved in the past 5 years. If you, before 2023, this particular fellow was boasting on a viral video, saying that, look, that, you know, laughing at mocking Nigerian, mocking everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, with a lot of gadgets and also, he said, look, we are going to, you know, he was even laughing and saying that, look, I'm going to deal with you. And if you have to, come to my camp. But it's a different story today. That in the past few months, he has lost no fewer than 24 commanders. People like Jabi Dogo, Dan Kana, Bashiru Yellow, Kabiru Gebe, Bello Buba, Dan Ina Kohan, and many others. They have been killed. Very close aides, including his junior brother, who is also part of the Dosu. You know, Dosu. So I think the heat is getting close to him, and you also discover that he was compelled to release a lot of people, you know, under his a lot of abducted people, you know, hundreds of people he was compelled to release them. And I think why the military was able to achieve this is that I believe his line of communication has been disrupted. Because in the past, when Bello Turji is in a particular place and the army is going there to arrest him, the first thing is that, you know, in 4 hours earlier, he has disappeared. You will not be able to get in touch with him. But and you also look at the atrocities he has been committing. In 2022, you know, no fewer than 200 people were killed in Zamfara by this person. Also in 2021, in Sokoto, he killed about 50 people just like that. So I think that for him to be begging now, not only him, I've seen viral video of some of these elements saying that, look, we are ready to negotiate for the first time. So I think we really commend the efforts of the service chiefs, the National Security Advisor. I am aware they work together, and I believe they have acquired a lot of sophisticated equipment in recent months that you can monitor a lot of things, wherever you need to. However, in terms of dealing with insurgency in Nigeria, it's not just enough to bring out, to kill, people like Bello Togi. It's just 31 years old. We must also ask ourselves, what are those things that propel our people to be bloodthirsty? In his own case, he lost 6 siblings from the same father. They were killed by Zakari, who are a group of vigilante people. When he started, the problem was that his cattle was a nomadic person. Then his cattle were roasted, taken away. He was looking for justice, he couldn't get justice. His father also actually had to sue because those cattle were sold to a particular prominent MI. He went to court, he didn't get justice. That was one thing that propelled Bello Togi into extremism, into blood-sucking rage, fury, that made him to become almost completely a madman in terms of killing people recklessly and viciously. So I will appeal to our government. Someone is just 31 years old, and there are many young people like that are frustrated, that are tired, that are of the justice system. That because I cannot get justice, then I take law. It's not a justification. Because you cannot get justice, then you take law into your hand. But we must also address the psychological aspect, that giving the right education to our people, right from their youth.
I hear you, but I think that's like a conversation for another day. Because you can't say because you want to get justice, you've killed
I'm just trying to do,
people.
as a journalist, we balance issues of security from psychological angle, sociological angle, from military angle, that we must not produce another Bello Togi in the future. So the government must understand the root cause that is behind some of these problems. I think the atrocity has committed now. Most probably, there's no way can avoid death sentence, even if they cannot kill him on the battlefield. If they are able to arrest him, there's no, because somebody has killed 200 people, 50 people, and all that. But
I don't even think the military is after him getting arrested.
No, they might be able to arrest him to get information from him, to be able to.
What is it? So, I mean, how important is the military? General Musa says he's begging and wants to surrender. How important is it that we do not fall victim to this begging? How crucial is it that the army...
Let me tell you, Bello Togi has this begging. He has surrendered. He has said he will surrender like 3 times. So for the general to tell you that no more begging, it means that they have given him
enough time, and they said the governors have also given him enough time to come forward.
You understand?
Opportunity.
So they've given him enough opportunity for him to surrender and truly surrender, but he has refused. I'm sorry that I have to. I know that you're appealing, but that appeal is after he has gone.
Yes.
Then from there we can now start talking about rehabilitating others. Because he has killed others. Do you know the number of families that he has rendered? We are talking about orphans. That he has rendered, the children that he has rendered orphans. Families.
In December 2021, he burnt one vehicle with 31 people.
With 31 people inside.
Including children.
So if somebody is mindless,
heartless.
Heartless.
Yes.
You now want to keep that person. Such a person is not a human being anymore. He's an animal. So we have to treat him that way.
Yes.
The military is not, I know that they are really, really after him. Because then, when he was busy making mouth, I knew that he would not be able to withstand the might of the Nigerian army. His time was, they were taking their time looking for when they will strike. And now they have started. Look at all these commanders, they have all gone. The channel in which he gets communication has been breached, so there's no point. So it's like he's empty, he's naked now, he's running now. I heard he's somewhere around whether Kagara or somewhere, in between Niger and Zamfara. The thing is, I know that his time, he knows that his time is up. Whether he wants to surrender, that is his own. But I know that the military will not allow, because it's been taking time. He's been dealing with our people, killing our women and men, creating territories for himself. The one was even for him to have even mocked our military.
Yes.
And I am telling all those who are calling themselves terrorists, anywhere you are, once the military wants to start their work, nobody should be begging for them, because these are people that when they go on their own hunting, in quotes, if you see them, it's just like armed robbers. No, you don't even want to pray that an armed robber comes to your house.
Yes.
Because at that point, it is life and death. And that is how these people are. They will, even when you beg them, they will not even want to listen. It is unless God says your time is not up. So when people like this are saying, "Oh, please, we want to obey, we want to surrender," people should not be go there and clear them.
Yes.
The military, if you know what the military and the security forces are doing in the southeast now, in the southeast, if you know what the story for the southeast is going to come very soon. I know some people are hearing stuff, but the story of the southeast, when it comes, then people will understand that even the people that are claiming that they are clamoring for them are the ones even hurting them the more. That of the southeast. The story has not come. You will see the story. We are watching. Now that this one has happened, I pray that the military should get him. In fact, I pray that the military should not even allow him to even stay. So that people who go to Katsina, I think I said this last week, since this onslaught started against him and his men, people have been traveling to Katsina from Kaduna freely, apart from the checkpoints that the military has even put to curtail their insecurity. But people have been traveling. It shows that the military has been doing serious effort to make sure that peace returns to those states. So kudos should go to them.
Yes.
Kudos to go to them. To the NSA, to the DSS, to the police. They are all doing their work. I think whatever medicine or whatever the Mr. President told them is sinking into their heads.
It's working.
It's really working.
The meetings are yielding results.
Yes, because it's not just about every day they say, okay, the president wants to meet the service chiefs and the IGP and NSC.
We really got tired of that at some point.
No, at some point it was just, is it every day?
Nice.
The
service chiefs all moved to Sokoto.
Yeah. So it was more like, okay, it's every day. But now, the president will be proud to hear that things like this are happening, that everywhere that people were complaining about, peace is returning, the Nigerians who are there are happy. Because that is the joy of Mr. President. Because there is no development that can happen where the place is insecure.
Right. What happened where we are at the moment? But many are very bothered, or many Nigerians are scared about the activities of fifth columnists and collaborators in all of this. How do we address that? Adewi, let me allow you.
Government you first of all need to have selfless people in government. The service chiefs, selfless. But if they are driven by money, the rank and file will also follow that same step.
Exactly.
Look at the National Security Advisor from his record as FCC chairman, the pioneer FCC chairman. He has kept a clean record. Even we in the human rights community, we knew him, even during the military days, that he was not part of that tyranny, that culture. We knew. Even though he was maybe a star commissioner of police and like that. And there are many of them like that, who are in government to serve the people, not for money, not for profit. They are genuinely committed to the spirit of nationhood. So I think that is what we are saying. And once the rank and file notice that, my commanders are not, they are no nonsense, they will kill him. But if you have a corrupt person that always take money from bandits, they bring Ghana must go all the time to come and settle him, politicians bring money, then you are not going to have an effective and efficient system. So I think what is happening is that the government is purging, saboteurs, bootlickers, to a large extent. I'm not saying they have succeeded, but at least we can see the result in terms of national security, in terms of even global trust in our, political system. So I think that all is going on, and that's why you see that Toji can be complaining. Before, You know, they kill his second in command. Kanawa.
Kanawa.
His second in command. That was not possible before. In fact, this country were at a stage that people are even going to give them red carpet reception, going to the bush to hold meetings with them, and saying that, oh, look, with their guns and all that. And, you know, the whole world was looking at what is going on. But that paradigm has shifted. There's no negotiation with people who want to destroy the country.
Exactly.
Yes.
That, look, we are very serious about this issue, and I think these terrorists have noticed that, look, these people are different from where they were coming, the people they were dealing with before. You know, so that's why this issue of negotiating, say we want to surrender, is coming in. I believe that the military should continue to put more heat on them, to wreck them, because to wreck that people cannot just make the country ungovernable. At the same time also, we must make the system to work, an efficient legal system, let people have trust in the government, have trust in the legal system, not that when my properties are stolen, I want to go and call militants. I want to go and call armed men to settle scores.
Exactly.
So we need an efficient
that is how
institution.
it festers.
Yeah, we need an efficient institution that people can trust. Honest people who can give us an efficient system, a judicial system that people can have confidence in it, and will not like to resort into self-help, to seek revenge or to seek justice.
All right.
You know, this fifth columnist too. I remember when they made Ribado as NSA. Some people say he doesn't have experience.
Yeah, he's a policeman.
He's a policeman. He doesn't. But look at the results.
Yeah.
It's not a military officer, because all the NSAs will be having all military officers, for ex-military, military, this, that. But we didn't get this kind of result. But look at him. He has been strategic with the way he has been managing things, you know, around in the country. So we need to give him his credit, his flowers.
So when Bello Turji is taken out of the equation, which I know will happen very soon, let's also talk about illicit arms trading in the country. And this is also because we've talked about NSA, Ribado. Where are we, and how do we continue to make sure that we nip this in the bud?
It's not going to be easy as long and as far as we keep having those who do not love this country. It happens everywhere anyway, you know. But I know that the NSA would also be looking at how and where. There's an agency for the small arms, you know. For
there's
illicit,
a National Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons.
Yes, and light weapons. So I know is domiciled in the NSA. So I know they will be looking at where these arms are coming in. And so once it gets, because every firearm has a number, so they will know where it's coming from. And that is where the NSA will begin to work or works on, you know. For instance, if it comes from Libya, it knows, okay, fine. How can those arms move into Nigeria? Is it through the border? Is it through the IC? There was a time, even I think it was during the last administration, that some arms were found in the ports. We didn't even hear anything about it. It was the customs that actually seized those arms. We didn't hear anything. We have not heard that anybody has been prosecuted till today. You know, so those are some of the things we are talking about. Yes. So once you make arrest or you get suspects, Nigerians want to know that what is the end of that, because justice, we're talking about justice. Yes. Because somebody is bringing those arms. Why did the person bring it? Who are the people? Where is those arms going to? What does the person want to use it for?
Yes.
So those are the questions that we should be asking, and then the NSA should also be looking at all those things. And once we know that, whether it's a prominent person or is a local person or whoever, they should be able to name that person and shame the person. Yes. Because by the time we just keep quiet, tomorrow we'll be spending, do you know how much is being spent for us to fight these so-called terrorists within Nigeria? It's a lot of money. Nigeria, before, we are not talking about getting to Kano. Yeah. But now we are talking about getting 12 to Kano to go and fight Boko Haram here. Monies that we are supposed to use to build schools, hospitals, and build our roads and all. We are using it to go and buy to Kano to fight internal, terrorists. So the NSA has to find a way of trying to ensure that those arms do not find its way into Nigeria. But the only way they can do that is also by we Nigerians. When once we see anything, any strange movement, you know, maybe the NSA should even open up, you know, a communication site or something, so that when people see any strange movement, they should be able to, you know, pass that information to the NSA without anybody knowing. You don't even need to go and tell, because just like we are talking about fifth columnists, fifth columnists are everywhere.
Yes.
They are in the military, they are in the police, they are everywhere.
Because I wanted to say, for those who are coming to say, how protected are they?
Exactly. So Nigerians, for Nigerians to be fully protected, the NSA can open a channel where people can pass information. Oh, we saw a strange movement coming in from point A to point B. I have not seen that person. No. Right. The person is in my community. He brought in one bag, or he brought in a car, or he brought in, you understand? You will send it to the NSA, that particular channel. You are not talking to anybody, you are just sending it there. So the NSA can deal with that immediately. All right,
Adegi, your final take on this.
Well, the latest we had was 17th January this year, that you know, arms manufacturing factory discovered in Kwande local government in Benue State, you know, by the police. And November, a similar thing where 17 rifles were, you know, discovered. So there is regular reports that we are reading about, which shows the indication of that, you know, the NSA, the service chiefs, the police IG, that they are doing a very good work. They need to continue to do it, because it's not just, those arms don't just come from abroad. Some are also being manufactured here.
And you know the CDS was also saying that he even wants to see those who are manufacturing, bring them into their
so that they can
into their own system.
So it's a very good effort. It's a very, very good effort.
All right, gentlemen, I mean, it's important for us to say we appreciate the Nigerian Army, the work of the Nigerian Army, and the incredible results they've achieved, especially in the last few months. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. All right, let's move on quickly. Leadership tussles can quickly escalate into full-blown political crisis, especially when accusations and power struggles come to play. In Lagos, tensions have risen as former Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Mudashiru Obasa, rejects his removal from office upon his return to the state. Addressing his supporters, Obasa insisted that due process must be followed for his removal. He also denied allegations of a governorship ambition, stating that he maintains a cordial relationship with Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, President Bola Tinubu, and APC leaders. Let's hear from the former speaker.
Obasan's title is like a general. When you go to war, you may come back, you may not come back. So as you can see me, I'm lively, I continue to enjoy myself. I'm not disturbed, I'm not packed up, and I'm not worried. So being speaker, but to remove, you must follow the due process, as I have said. I'm not afraid of being removed. If you are a member of the House for 20-something and you are speaker for almost 10 years, me, I'm not disturbed, but let them follow the true procedure. Nothing has gone wrong and nothing is taken. And to our governor, I've said it. I commend him and thank him for what he's doing. To Mr. President, to our GAC, they are our leaders, they are our fathers, we appreciate them. But to President and First Lady.
All right, gentlemen, former Speaker Mudashiru Obasa speaking there. So he's saying, I'm still the Speaker until the right thing has been done. If you want to remove me in the proper way. So what exactly is that due process he's talking about?
Well, he was saying that the original maze was with him. You know, that he was supposed to be on the floor of the house for him to be removed. Okay, that he was not in the house when they removed him. At least he should have been, you know, around, so that he will see the people who will vote against him for his removal. You know, but I just want to say this. You know, Lagos is a very sophisticated state. So many states wish to be like Lagos. You know, so I would just want to appeal to all the leaders, the party members, the supporters of APC, as well as the leaders.
Does he have a point?
Well, he has a point.
Okay.
You know, saying that he was removed illegally. But the thing is, when it comes to their legislative thing, okay, whether you are there, you are not there. If you have been removed by 2/3 majority vote, whether you are there, you are not there as a speaker, or you understand what I mean?
I do.
You are gone. Provided they did that removal on the floor of that house. So he's talking about maize, except maybe he wants to go to court for them to go and decide whether the maize, and then maybe they have it in their rule book that the maize has to be there before the removal, you know, which I have not seen, because I need to see their rule book to know whether the maize has to be in place before its removal. But my own is just about the peace of the state, because I'm not sure Lagos wants to be insecure. When once there's a problem in Lagos, then you know what it means. It's like the whole country is in problem. So I feel the leaders of the party, I will not call the president, because the president has a lot of work, which is Nigeria as a whole. Let him leave Lagos for the people who are in charge of Lagos. When I mean the people, they have GAC, they have the governor, they have the deputy governor. And so now that we have a new speaker, I feel Mr. Obasa, you know, should think of the general well-being of everybody, not just himself. We know he was a speaker at some point, because even if he's down there, he say that he has to come to the house for them to do it properly. If he goes to the house and they do it properly, will he be happy? Is that what he wants? Other people have been speakers and they removed them. Pelumi was removed. Ikufuriji was also removed. Okay? So if he's being removed, for him, because I know he's a strong man in Agege, and I know how Agege is, that is why I'm appealing to him, for peace sake, he should just allow it slide.
You sure that's not some of the blotted accolades?
No. Anyhow you want to see it, Jumoke. But I just want, for peace sake, you know, let it just slide. Okay. He has done his, you see, let me tell you, Obasa, for me, if I were Obasa, I'm not Obasa, I'm Asuko James. Yeah. If I am Obasa, he has done marvelously well in that house. Yeah, because he should be counting the achievements of what he has done in the house.
So because I think that's what many have also said. He should have just returned to the country, go back to the house, and, you know, somehow be quiet. Because we also heard him say, meaning that it's okay with not being speaker anymore. I mean, he's done his best. So if really you think, or you thought you've had a good run, why are you then insisting on
you understand?
So that's kind of hypocritical.
Exactly. So that is what I'm saying. You know, he should not allow people to talk to him. That no agree. That's no agree will wipe away all the achievements he has achieved for a very long, for the 10 years or thereabouts, you know, that he has been speaker. So he has to sit down to look at the things that he has done for both Agege people and for Lagos while he was a speaker. Okay. So he should not use a 1 second anger to rubbish his 10-year achievement.
He doesn't even look angry. Let me continue. You've heard Asuko James and you've heard Obasa. Where do you stand?
Well, I align with him. Just to add that, you see, you have to be very modest, whatever position you find yourself in life, whether you are up, whether you are down. And I also know that power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Honorable Obasa has been in that house in politics since 1999. Yes. He was a councillor in Agege under Alliance for Democracy.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Good morning, Marina Station and all the passengers. Efficient, it's comfortable.
This development will go a long way in reducing congestion and emission.
The trains are a long-term solution to Lagos traffic challenges.
This is where we take the final, decisions on policies, programs of government. I will have to ensure that, the narration of Lagos as a PLC is taken very, very seriously.
This is a major pedestrian bridge linking Oyinbo here to Apapa Road over there.
With this overpass, we are providing what we call permanent solution.
This place is one of the most dangerous areas at the biosecurity environment.
This can go into the news and every crumbs of your neighborhood.
Our goal is to remain as Africa's model megacity, to move our GDP from the 5-6 position to the 3rd position, and we believe it's achievable with all the commitments we have.
Explore the city of Lagos, where dreams are made and possibilities are endless. Amadedoja Salamadini, I live in Lagos, inside Lagos.
Bow down to them.
Exactly.
But Buhari, if you see Buhari today, we show respect. Because whatever you belong in this life, whatever you become, first have respect for God and people that made you to rise up to that ladder. Okay. You don't get on top of the ladder and then see everybody as nobody. And as Speaker of the House, even though we believe in separation of power, you must know that the governor is higher than you, and you must show respect. Many functions, the governor will be sitting down there, you now come back late. You come back as that kind of thing. So I hope he learns his lesson. I just watched his speech now. I think he's trying to balance, the scale. Yeah. I mean, for reason of sound to say, twirling. I mean, you have given up. Yes. And I believe with that, he will not go to court. Because if he goes to court, I don't know what he wants to argue. Because the law says you can be removed by not less than 2/3. And majority of the people remove you. So you need to just slow down now. I mean, lie low. Appeal to people to forgive him.
But these allegations against him, financial mismanagement, abuse of power, lack of transparency. I mean, he has now said he who alleges must pay. So is he now on those who have alleged, or on EFCC to now say we're taking charge?
No, it depends on the lawmakers. The only way, except the lawmakers wants to push, or he himself wants to, push the matter. That is when the lawmakers. Push what matter? No, the financial misappropriation and all that, the allegations against him. So if he wants to say, okay, fine, tikpa my name, I need to clear my name. He can decide to sue the assembly, and then the assembly will begin to look at the books. You understand? So if he's so confident of himself, he can go ahead. You understand? He can go ahead and, sue them and let them, so the EFCC can also be involved in it, so that everybody will be okay at the end of this. But I keep saying it, I feel he needs a lot of emotional intelligence to handle this matter. He has to calm down for him to listen to himself. He has been in politics for a very long time. So many people look up to him. And we know it's not a pushover when it comes to politics, particularly in Agege area. Alimosho, I think he has even moved to Alimosho and all that. So, and for him to say he didn't have a governorship ambition,
He said he didn't speak to
anybody.
Any leader.
We know that he might not have a governorship ambition, but it might be nothing.
But it's okay to have.
Okay to and of course, yeah. Everybody has ambition.
The way you go about
it. It's just the way, whether you want to. So he shouldn't say he didn't have the ambition, he didn't tell anybody. Does he want to say that Agege people don't want him to be governor? If he can't tell Agege people that he doesn't want to be governor, when they have seen when they are enjoying him as a speaker, me that I know that, okay, I pass through Agege once in a while, I know I pass through that side. It was because he was a speaker, they actually put a bridge in Penn Cinema. So do you think they don't want more things to come? They have train stations in Agege. They have Agege, you understand? So people see all these things and then they will wish for more. So you cannot go to his people and say, oh, I don't want to be governor. They are the people, just like Adio said, people, you must know that your people also want you to become something bigger.
But they can't make him governor.
They can't. We know they can't. Yes, we know. Yeah. We know, but he can't even say that he didn't have the ambition.
Only Agege people cannot make him governor.
We know, but the thing is, he can't claim that he doesn't have ambition.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
You know, but at least he will not sit.
Okay.
You know? But the thing is, he has to calm down. For these allegations against him, if he wants to push further, he can decide to sue his fellow colleagues because he's a floor member now. If he wants to. So he can sue them and then they will go to court. Then he will now start seeing how the whole thing will be, left, right, center. The EFCC can be invited into it. So he has to choose his battles very well. You know, that is why I'm saying a lot of emotional intelligence has to come to play. Because if he wants to begin to push and fight battles that he knows that he cannot win, it is going to rubbish his political career for a very long time. Because he has built it since 1999. And I'm not sure somebody like him will want to just leave the scene like that. And let me tell you one thing about politics. If he doesn't fight this battle with sense, he will lose relevance.
I wanted to say that the politicians come back from this kinds of
So
issues.
that is why, just like you said, if he had come back and he did not come support us, just go to his house, and then you are saying he looked evil now.
No, that's what his supporters will be telling him.
No.
You have to talk, so they don't think you're weak.
Sometimes you can be weak so that even your enemies will fear your next move.
All right.
It is one of the laws of power. You can be silent and nobody knows what you are thinking, but they don't know your next move. So he could have come back and not say anything and not even be making noise. People, even if the lawmakers will not look at, immediately was saying that, do you know the lawmakers also released a statement?
Yes, there was a statement. Yes.
You must show that you are more intelligent than people that you lead.
Of course.
Yes. They should not be the one pushing you anyhow.
So they know that he was going to come up with things like this. They already know him. And they immediately, in fact, the statement, before he even finished the second press conference that he was doing, the statement has already come out. It's like they knew that he was going to go. So he has to choose his battles very well.
All right. I'm sure he's listening to you as a court. Let me come to you. We need to wrap up on this. But are there unforeseen implications this may have on Lagos politics if not properly handled?
We are dealing with a very, I'm sorry to use that word, a very little fly.
Okay.
It can't rock the boat. We have had speakers in the past.
Otherwise.
We have had ex-governors in the past in Lagos State. So if those people, there were challenges with them and they could not rock the boat, I think the speaker.
And who is Abasa?
They can't, it's something Agege because of the party. Let him decamp to another party whether he will win that election. So he should.
You know, you can't even try that.
Yes. You know, as they say it in worry, making day in lane, making day in day. You should not make too much noise.
All right, gentlemen, let's move on to our final conversation for today. Palm oil is one of Nigeria's key agricultural products, essential for both local consumption and industrial production. However, supply has fallen short of demand. Manufacturers are now seeking 905 billion naira worth of foreign palm oil imports to meet growing needs. Despite an increase in the price of the commodity from $889 to $943 per ton within a month, importers must pay an additional $212 per ton in costs, insurance, and freight for February and March shipments from Malaysia. Asuko. Nigeria stands as one of the world's leading producers of palm oil, yet we're importing.
It's surprising. It's quite surprising, you know. I know there was a time I heard that Malaysia, they came to Nigeria to pick our, seeds. now we are the ones going there to go and be importing palm oil, ordinary palm oil, you know, from Malaysia, from Thailand, even Vietnam, you know. So I think when I saw this story, I was like, a whole palm oil. See, Jumoke, do you know this palm oil thing? When I was young, because my family, we have these palm trees, you know, so each family, when it comes to a particular year, maybe like 10 years, every 10 years, they'll give you your own part, palm trees, like maybe 5 for you to harvest, and then you do the oil. So that was how I knew that, okay, fine, we can even do this thing even in Nigeria, the local part. Because even my mom, before she died, she did oil, this same oil that you are using, this palm oil, she did it in my presence. So I know the process. So when I saw this story, I was like, is this not the same thing that we used to do? How come we are having difficulty getting to even meet the demands in Nigeria? So how come that we have an association and they are not looking at the bigger picture of how is Malaysia doing theirs? Is it that same one seed that we gave them many years? Did they just plant only that seed and then use it, you know, for them from that 1900 till now? They are the ones now importing this. How come we have not gotten to that level whereby we begin to use technology for us to be able to get palm oil in Nigeria? How come that we are spending this much money for us to be importing palm oil? So instead of doing this, why can't we begin to look at what our research institutes, what they are doing? What are our Greek economists, what are they doing? Because we can't be spending 900 billion for us to be importing palm oil.
And according to this research that I have, Edo State has some of the largest oil palm plantations in Nigeria. Ondo State, Delta, Edo, Akwa Ibom, just the rivers, even rivers states.
We have these trees in those states that you are saying, but there are ways that we can still make it look as in where we can even export. So that is where this association is supposed to now begin to think of, rather than spending this much money, can we begin to look at what these states they have for us to boost the production of palm oil or palm trees?
Is that responsibility on the association or the state governors?
If the state government want to do that, they can do it. It takes a long time for palm trees to come up. It's not something you put today like corn, and then in the next few months, it takes a long time. It can take you years, 10 years. In fact, some people even invest. I know some companies that will tell you to invest in palm oil business, but it will take you 10 years, like a long-term investment. But technology, that I'm telling you, can help you. Instead of taking 10 years, you can reduce. That is where research comes in. That is where the Greek economists they come in. So the association can begin to look at it. They shouldn't be looking at the crude ways of trying to do things. Okay, because what they now want to do is for us to meet demands. And don't forget, this same palm oil is being used to make soap.
Yes.
It's used to do some other things, even our oil that we use for our body. You understand? So they have to look at other genuine ways, other intelligent and innovative ways of trying to get these things in Nigeria. Not just about going to import. We have to stop our level, the things that we know that we have, that we can help ourselves with. We should stop spending our small dollar to go and bring in. It doesn't make sense to me.
It looks like it's a hard time for local producers, because of this report, it looks like it's cheaper when they import palm oil. The report says despite the increase in the price of the produce from $889 to $943 per ton within 1 month, a ton of palm oil in Nigeria is 2.8 million, leading to 45% difference. This sounds very ridiculous.
The situation we find ourselves is very, very, very unfortunate. West Africa is native to palm trees. It is native to West Africa, Cameroon, Nigeria, Ghana. created by God thousands of years ago. And it has been a source of energy, a source of food, a sort of petroleum products, for body cream, for soap, for thousands of years in West Africa. In 1870, the British who were in Nigeria, they came here and said, oh, this is a very productive tree. And you know the palm tree is full of wealth. The nuts, the shaft, the palm fruits, the palm nuts, the palm fronds, the wine in it. Then also, the wood, you can, use it for a lot. So it's one of the richest. They came in 1870 and then took it to Malaysia. They took it from Niger Delta. And then earlier they are taking one to Indonesia in 1848. Do you know that today, and in the in the 60s, 50s, were one of the largest producers of palm oil. Even though they were not planted by anybody, they were just growing along.
Yeah, exactly.
But suddenly we started cutting down these trees, either for industrial purposes or even for
to build houses.
To build houses. And even people are chasing grass cutter and all that, they just set the whole place ablaze. So for years, we have destroyed what God made for us. Today, Indonesia produces about 30 million metric tons of palm oil. Nigeria, I think the last time we produced 1.5 million. In Indonesia, it contributes about 4.5% to the GDP and employs about 3 million people, So you can see that when we are talking about government is not doing enough, something that belongs to you, something that is part of that God has put there, you have destroyed them just to replant those things back. You cannot do it. So, and when you are talking about palm tree, the modern species, between 3, 4, 5 years, the original one in Nigeria, the indigenous one, takes between 6 and 8 years because it's drought resistant. Even during dry season, palm trees are there, all season producing. But the modern ones, between 3, 4, 5 years, So I think this is a big challenge for us because China and India, they are the highest consumers of palm oil, and there is a huge source of foreign exchange. It's embarrassing that Indonesia, Malaysia, they now have to bring what originally belonged to us, and when you depend on importation, you also stand the risk of importing adulterated, palm oil that are produced of so many chemicals mixed together. And because there is poor regulation here, people consume some of these things, which is hazardous to public health. So I hope our governments in the southwest, south, and southeast, we take this up as a major challenge. When Zik was prime minister, the major source of, this thing was palm oil in the southeast of Nigeria, So it's a big challenge for us, and it's never too late. If we can start planting now, in the next 6 years, we'll be telling good stories about how we have been able to
especially now that we're talking about diversifying our economy.
Yes, exactly. I know Nina actually did a story on palm oil. There's a reporter in Abia did a story on palm oil production. And you could even see the crude methods they are using. Let's even say it's even crude. Or they are using local, but at least we know that in that particular, all the factories that she went to, we had like almost 20 people working there. So just imagine the number of people that each factories, if we have different factories involved in this business. So governments can really tap into this and begin to reduce the number of unemployed youths, across either the south or southeast or even southwest. I know in Ijebu, I want to talk about the palm oil in Ijebu. There's a funny, it has this funny smell. I think they burn it or something. So anytime we want to cook, back then when we were in school, everybody will be shouting because it doesn't smell the same way that we from the south know palm oil to be. So it has maybe they burn it or something before they now start removing, boiling, and then squeezing and doing some production. So it has this funny smell. So it's a lot is a good investment that government can go into. I keep saying it, we underutilize our research institutes too much.
So let's be clear. When you say governments, federal governments or state governments?
State governments, because the state governments are the ones that are in charge of land. So they are the ones that will know, okay, fine, this is their land, this is a portion that we can allocate to, to plant these things, and then for it to also, if they have a land for palm oil, full land, can be even 1 acre, 2 acres, and then say, okay, this, you are planting there, we have a land settlement, you look for another portion for another set of crops, so that it doesn't look as if it's just only palm oil that you want to produce, and look for another portion for another set of things. At the end of the day, you'll find out that people will be engaged, meaningfully. Because what we just have is we just have land everywhere. And those lands sometimes, just like Adio said, God has blessed this country with this particular product, with this produce. But we are not utilizing it. So governments must find ways of utilizing it. Is it in the south? Government must start looking for it and then seeing how they can tap into that resources. The association should not be, and man should not be the one saying, they want to go and import palm oil. A state governor should have said, no, we have the capacity to meet your demands. Or state governors can come together and say, I have 500 tons.
Now that we're having this conversation, in what ways can the state governments, or state governors, rather, federal governments, assist these associations?
No, let's leave the federal government. Okay. Let's look at the state governors. The state governors, if they are watching us, they should start thinking, okay, I can tell you for Akwa Ibom, for instance, the state governor should start looking at the trees, the palm trees that we have in Akwa Ibom. Can even set up an agency to go and begin to look at where we have clusters of these palm trees. And so then they will begin to look at how much can they generate from there. How much, okay, man, what is your demand? Oh, you need 1,000 tons. Okay, fine. We are going to give you 500 tons in the next 5 months. So man now knows that, okay, Akwa Ibom is giving me 500. Go to another state, Edo State. Edo State will give you one. By the time they do that across all these states, as in full, they know that this is what they want to do, not that you are doing other things. The next 3 to 5 years.
Let's be realistic.
We have been realistic.
Does it look like this set of governors are ready to go that route?
No, that's what I said. That is why they are watching JH today.
They are not watching JH for the first time. They are not hearing about
diversification
of the economy for the first time. They are not hearing about complementing federal government efforts for the first time. Are they ready? Does it look like they are ready?
If the governors are truly ready, they would remove so many people off the streets and give them jobs in the palm produce companies. What stops Akwa Ibom? I don't know if Akwa Ibom has, or what stops. I know Edo State. I know Edo State has Okumu oil or something.
Yes.
Okumu oil palm plantation and Presco oil palm plantation.
I have used that oil once. And I know what it means.
River State.
So just imagine the number of people that have been employed for that Okumu oil company alone.
All right.
So if governors can tap into it, so many people would be employed.
All right,
so many people.
Final take.
I think that I will advise our government, state governments, to take a clue from Malaysia. In the year 2024, between January and November, Malaysia made $22 billion and $22 billion from, palm oil. What Malaysia did, I think we can copy, because Malaysia is the second largest producer of palm oil, is that on May 1st, 2000, the year 2000, they set up what they call the Malaysia Palm Oil Board. That board is not for politicians. It's giving the mandate to develop, research and promote palm oil industry. And since that board was set up in the year 2000, made up of experts. So it's not as if, when the governor comes there, I don't like this face, I remove him. They brought experts there, and then they were able to re-energize palm oil production. So I think if we may not have it at national level, we can have Southwest Palm Oil Production Board, Southeast Palm Oil Production Board. The same thing with South, so that the state will collaborate. We'll give them 5 years. It will be a great story.
Now that they have development commission,
so
they can have palm oil and small agency inside,
not politicians.
We have to go home. We have to go. Thank you so much for your perspectives on the show today. Adewale Adeoye, Asukwa James, thank you so much. Great conversation today. Thank you so much. And thank you very much for watching, everyone. That's all on Journalist Hangout on Sunday. Join us tomorrow for the regular episode of the program at 5 p.m. You can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode tonight at 11:30. We are on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Olajumoke Olatuji. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Information is power, information is security, information is knowledge. On Labor Lens, we believe that working people around the world have real questions of their own. They want to know how the world of work operates, what it means to the employer of labor, how policies affect workers in the workplace. On Labor Lens, I ensure we engage effectively the organized labor, organized private sector and government to get out of them information workers are in need of. I am Sharon Ijason, asking questions that make you get sense of the workplace.
Good morning, Marina Station and all the passengers.
Efficient, it's comfortable.
This development will go a long way in reducing congestion and emission.
The trains are long-term solution to Lagos traffic challenges.
This is where we take the final, decisions on policies, programs of government. I will have to ensure that, the narration of Lagos as a PLC is taken very, very seriously.
This is a major pedestrian bridge linking Oyinbo here to Apapa Road over there.
With this overpass, we are providing what we call a permanent solution.
This place is one of the most dangerous areas at the biosecurity environment.